Joining me now is Jared Ferrantino. He's a former homicide prosecutor and the co-host of the Primetime Crime podcast. And Misty Marris. She's a trial attorney and legal analyst. They both have been following the case closely. All right, so Misty, you had predicted after seeing the sort of disastrous testimony of the lead investigator that there would be an all-out acquittal here. Are you surprised by the hung jury?
You know, I'm not surprised by the hung jury, Dan, because as much as I actually thought Proctor's testimony completely torpedoed the prosecution's case, seeing a hung jury isn't really too surprising, because it seems, especially since the jury came back basically 3 times saying that they were at an impasse, they were obviously torn on the common element of the 3 charges, which were different levels of intent, but one element remained the same. They had to believe that the prosecutors proved beyond a reasonable doubt that Karen Read caused the death of O'Keefe. And here, the defense did an excellent job of really impugning the investigation in order to raise that reasonable doubt. They didn't have to prove their theory. All they had to do was convince some of the jurors that there was simply not enough evidence.
So, Jarrett, what do you think prosecutors do differently next time around?
You know, Dan, it's difficult, but they have to regroup. I look at a retrial like this, like Rocky II. Everybody's expecting the southpaw to come in and Mickey taught him to fight right-handed. That's what they have to do. They got to come at this as differently as they possibly can, but you know as well as I do, they're going to be confined by the testimony of trial 1. So try a little bit of a strategically different approach, but you're stuck with the facts from round 1. That's, you know, I look at this and I think they're tied with many of the facts in the law, but their strategy and arguments could get better and refined, and they could learn from their mistakes.
Misty, who's at more of an advantage in the next trial in terms of having a round 2?
I actually think the defense is very much in the seat of the advantage, and there's a couple of reasons. There's some other things that may be happening in this interim period between this trial and the next go-around. Number one, Proctor has now been removed from his position, and there's an internal investigation. We don't know what the results of that will yield. Also, there had been an indication that the federal government, the DOJ, was actually looking into the investigation and how it unfolded. If that is in fact the case, there could be a lot more for the defense to use and put in their arsenal moving forward with the second trial. And I think that's a great point to think about how to reframe this trial. I almost think the prosecutors take the intentional murder off of the table and focus on the reckless and focus on her intoxication, as opposed to trying to go that extra level and prove the intent.
Yeah, Jared, it sounds like you agree, right? Go for something that's maybe more achievable in terms of a conviction?
I do. I think that murder charge is a bit of an overreach. Even if you believed everything they said, I see the jury seeing this at best as a killing in a fit of rage or anger. I mean, you would have to assume at that point she essentially roadmapped to back over O'Keefe that night. I mean, I know intent could be formed in a second. It just doesn't look to me like a planned out murder. I think Misty's totally right in saying they got to look at the nature of the charges this time around.
Jared Ferrantino and Misty Marris, thank you both. Appreciate it.
Thank you.